Frankenstein's Aunt by Rune Pettersson. Anxiety spreads. The spring sunshine shone down on the tiled and turf roofs. The gardens brilliant with broom and daffodils, but inside the village inn the atmosphere was gloomy. A little group of men was gathered round the station master, as hollow-eyed and thin. He spread anxiety in wider and wider circles. "Now don't go telling me they're just cleaning up that laboratory," he said to the innkeeper, who was grumpily drying glasses at the counter. "That light you can see up there at night, I recognize it. Arc lights and blue flashes, just like in the old days." "But there was a terrible thunderstorm last night," said the innkeeper. "Do you think I can't tell the difference between God's lightning and Frankenstein's?" said the station manager. "I'm telling you, men, I'm off home to pack my trunks. I'm leaving." "Don't go doing anything rash, Helmut," said Meyer, the auctioneer. He had just done his unpacking, since he had just come back on the night train from staying with his sister in Newburgh. Meyer was a stout, elderly man with a walrus mustache and a bowler hat. He was leaning on his stick, a tankard of beer in his hand, and a weary old bulldog was sitting at his feet, looking as if it had not had much sleep on the train. "We shouldn't think the worst," said the village blacksmith, a blue-eyed young man with short fair hair and arms like a bear's. His tankard of beer nestled like an egg cup in his huge hands. "I think Helmut's right," said the guard, wiping the froth off his mustache. He had been on the train when Meyer had come. He was now off duty for the rest of the day, so he was wearing knickerbockers and a Tyrolean hat. "Well, something fishes up, I think so too," said Muller the butcher. Said Muller the butcher, a huge man with a scarlet face and 4 double chins. "You can say that again," said the station master. At that moment they all felt a draft in the room. The door behind the counter banged, and, his cloth over his shoulder, the innkeeper went out into the kitchen. His customers could hear him talking to his wife out there. She had clearly just come in from out of doors, and her voice was loud and shrill. When the innkeeper came back into the tap room, his face was as white as the cloth he had in his hand. "What's the matter?" said the station master. "Why are you so pale?" God has just been out for a while looking for harebells," said the innkeeper. "Well," chorused his customers, "and she happens to stray up towards the castle. She's seen the monster. It's going round up there, tearing up bushes like a maniac." "What did I tell you?" said the station master hoarsely. The guard had by now drunk quite a number of tankards of beer. He pulled down his waistcoat and hitched up his knickers, the fear inside him subsiding. "We must look into this," he said in a determined voice. "Right away this time. Anyone coming up with me?" "I've promised the brewer's drayman I'd shoe his horses today," said the blacksmith, hastily drinking up and leaving. "And I've got some sausages to make for Mrs. Braun," said the butcher, following suit. The guard straightened his Tyrolean hat and looked cheerfully at the remainder, suddenly feeling he was a born leader. "You'll come anyway, won't you, Helmut?" he said. "And you, innkeeper, can we borrow your hound, Meyer?" "By all means," said Meyer, handing up the leash. "But he doesn't like walking uphill." The bulldog had fallen asleep in the sawdust on the inn floor. And that's the end of that chapter.